Classical Hollywood cinema, the golden age of Western cinema. Filmmaking has flourished in the United States. Big studios have emerged to compete against the cinema scene across the pond. The big ocean that separates America and Europe had an effect in cinema culture. Europe had multiple tropes. The French had non-linear storytelling. The Germans had larger-than-life mise-en-scène. The Russians had their montage. And Hollywood had its three-act structure. The infamous three-act structure has become the standard of storytelling in 21st century films. Filmmakers around the world have applied the three-act formula in their movies. It's a tried and true method of screenwriting. In its most basic form, a three-act structure consists of three parts: the beginning, the middle, and the end. Classical Hollywood movies are character-driven. The story progresses with the protagonist, following their wants and needs, and the journey towards obtaining said wants and needs. The main purpose is to have a clear goal that the characters want to achieve. That way, the story is propelled by its characters' priorities, advancing the narrative. The journey of these characters are divided into three acts. The story begins. Now, exposition. What happens? Who is he? Who is she? What does he want? What does she want? Where are they? What are they looking for? Who are these people? Why are we here? And that's basically it. That's all for the first act. Am I going too fast? Because it's supposed to be. Well, okay. The first act contains exposition. Every little bit of information about the things that we are seeing in the screen. By knowing who these characters are, what these characters want, and why they want what they want, we know the exact goal that they are trying to achieve. This immerses the audience into the story, puts the audience in these characters' shoes, if you may. The introduction of this world has to successfully capture the attention of the viewers. The first act is usually not that long, as it is wise to keep these expository scenes as compact as possible. The first act also contains the inciting incident. This catapults the story into the next chapter, the second act. In this part of the movie, the protagonist is faced with a situation, an obstacle. A problem is necessary to keep the story going forward. It is also vital for an obstacle to present itself in the most intimidating way. And the purpose of this is to drive the main protagonist to change. One of the ways is for the problem to present itself as an antagonist, a living, breathing opposition. The journey of one character's fulfillment is filled with hardships, as the character must overcome problems. As the story progresses, the stakes and obstacles are taken up a notch. This will build up tension, until finally, in the end of Act 2, everything explodes. Sometimes, the second act contains a subplot that usually supports the main storyline of the character. This is also why the second act usually takes up the most screen time. In this stage of the story, it is uncommon for a movie to depict a rise and fall of a character, making an interesting character arc. It also comes with the second plot point that drives the story into the climax, and that leads us to the final part of the story. The beginning of the end. In this part of the story, everything erupts, tension peaks, everything is filled to the brim. The protagonist has successfully overcome its obstacle, and the audience is awarded with the resolution of the story. The third act is supposed to tie everything together, resolving the story, giving it a meaningful ending to the movie, leaving the audience on their seats, only with the residue of the story, and then cut to black. Part of what makes the three-act structure work is how the story unfolds. Classical Hollywood stories are told chronologically. making it easy to grasp. Because the story is centered around a protagonist, it makes it easier for the audience to follow through. The three-act structure depends on planting information early on and paying off the setup in the end, making a story whole. To this day, most movies follow the three-act structure. Who knows what will happen in the future of cinema?